If you are struggling with sciatica, then you do not want to do these 5 core exercises. These 5 core exercises could not only be making your situation worse, but could be preventing you from recovering as well. In this episode, number 123 of the Low Back Pain Podcast, I'm going to dive into each individual core exercise and explain exactly why you do not want to do these if you have sciatica. And I'm going to show you 4 core exercises that you can put into your routine to replace these exercises that will work better and help reduce your pain. If you have not joined my private Facebook group yet, you need to do so. It is called RehabFix Low Back Program. And immediately upon joining, you will receive our free step-by-step sciatica guide, one that we have used to help thousands of people across the world recover fully from sciatica. This is literally the same step-by-step process that we take them through during our assessment calls. You can get a clear idea of kind of what's going to help you and what that plan might look like. It is worth thousands, and you will get this for free just by joining the page. And there are other free courses and trainings that I have in there as well. There is tons of information in there. So if you have tons of highly valuable and free information, and you're actually serious about getting better, then you will join my private Facebook group, RehabFix Low Back Program. I'll see you in there. The first exercise we do not want to do if you have sciatica is the traditional crunch exercise. Why? The reason why is because most people with sciatica will find that bending forward or flexion of their spine tends to make it worse. Why does flexion of the spine make it worse? Because most sciatica issues are from a disc bulge pushing on that nerve. And what we know is that with most disc bulges, there is increased disc pressure with forward flexion movements. So if you flex forward, especially against gravity, you're going to increase the pressure on that disc, which is then going to bulge more and increase that pressure on that nerve, and is going to increase the sensitivity of that nerve. So after a session of crunches, you might notice not only your back feels worse, but your leg feels worse too. And this is because of that flexion force, especially in a repetitive context. Number 2, leg raises. A lot of people will lay on their back and perform leg raises. There are 2 reasons that this is usually not good for sciatica or disc bulges. Number 1, by extending the leg up, you are increasing nerve tension. There's an orthopedic test. It is a nerve tension test called slumps test. For a slumps test, the individual will be seated, they will lean forward, flexion, and they will extend one leg straight out, thus increasing nerve tension. When you are on your back, even though you're not in a seated position, by raising the leg and keeping the leg straight, you are putting tension on your hamstring, you are putting tension on that nerve. And if you have a sensitive nerve, if you have bad sciatica in the leg, then you will notice that extending that leg and raising it will increase nerve tension and it will increase the pain in your leg. This is like picking a scab over and over, and it will not feel good. In addition, some people when performing this, they have a hard time controlling their lower back and keeping their lower back flat against the ground. And they're constantly going to an arched position on their lower back, which might be aggravating as well. Exercise number 3, Russian twists. For a lot of individuals, we find that flexion and rotation can be common mechanisms of injury for disc bulges that can then cause sciatica. What this Russian twist resembles is once again a flexed position. So the back is in a rounded position with weight, and then rotation is then added. A sensitive disc will not like this, and a sensitive disc will then irritate the nerve even further. So this might be an exercise that you might not be ready for at this point in time. Exercise number 4 is a hanging leg raise. Hanging leg raise, the exact same reason as a lying leg raise. As you're hanging, you are extending one or both legs out, thus increasing nerve tension on your leg, increasing nerve pain, most likely, and you could be out of control and going into a lot of flexion while you're doing these leg raises as well. Might look like a toes to bar in CrossFit, and this could be increasing disc pressure too. You might feel increased sensitivity after doing this as well. In exercise number 5, this one is going to be a little bit different. This is actually our Superman exercise. This one is hit or miss. Some people might still feel good with this, but some people might feel bad. It really is a flip of a coin at times. The reason why is because as we perform this Superman exercise and we're putting excessive extension on the lower back, this active extension can sometimes be a very aggravating motion for some people with disc and sciatic issues. They might find that after doing this, their back feels really flared up, it feels really locked up, it feels really stiff. A lot of our clients who have disc bulges and sciatica, which is all we treat with people all around the world, this is what we do every single day through our online coaching program, we find that not only does flexion movements hurt them, but many times extension does as well. They're limited into extension, or even sometimes extension can be bothersome on that nerve. So sometimes this can also be a movement that puts too much pressure on that low back, too much pressure on that disc, and then therefore puts pressure on that nerve and increases the nerve pain down the leg. Now, what can we do to modify these movements? We know what not to do, but now what can we do instead? Well, I have 4 great exercise variations that you can put in right now that can be seamless substitutes for a lot of these movements. The first substitute we can do, instead of doing those previous crunches, instead we can do curl-ups. Curl-ups are a very similar motion to a crunch. However, the hands are under the lower back, creating a neutral or arched position and helping the back to avoid going into a flexed position. This will reduce intradiscal pressure and could therefore reduce pain associated with this movement and reduce increased pressure on that nerve, thus not increasing your sciatica. Exercise number 2, instead of doing the leg raises, we can instead perform a reverse crunch. A reverse crunch is much easier to control and it does not increase nerve tension. The reason why is because the knees are bent while you do a reverse crunch. And because they're bent, there is not as much leverage on the lower back, so you can keep the lower back flat against the ground much easier, which will reduce intradiscal pressure. And because the legs are not extended, you are not increasing nerve tension. The legs usually remain around a 90-degree angle on this. This will feel much more comfortable than leg raises if you have sciatica. If you are doing hanging leg raises, instead of putting your entire body into it and once again extending the legs and increasing nerve tension and potentially flexing the lower back, by simply bending at the hips and performing a controlled knee raise, nice and slow with good control, you will still feel significant core activation. You will absolutely get a good core burn. But once again, you will avoid putting your lower back in a flex position and you will avoid putting increased tension on that nerve because you are not extending the legs. And the last one, instead of performing the Superman exercise, which is typically performed to increase the back of our body, our posterior chain, and our spinal erectors, we can instead perform a bird dog. This tends to be a more comfortable movement for individuals who are trying to strengthen their glutes and erectors, but active extension in a localized fashion can be too much. This exercise will not only help your balance, but it will help your core stability and spine stability too, without putting significant pressure on your spine and probably making you feel better after it, as opposed to maybe the Superman exercise or other movements that we have discussed. Now, with all this being said, I want to be very clear that not everyone is in the same situation. From the exercises that we discussed today, some people will feel pain with them and some people won't. With some of the modifications we discussed, some people will feel better with them, some people won't. It just depends on your unique situation. And that is why we here at RehabFix meet with every single individual for a one-on-one assessment to take you through the appropriate testing and physical assessment needed to identify exactly the type of sciatica and disc problem that you are dealing with, show you the initial exercises for how to reduce your pain, and then build out a plan designed for you and tailored to your current lifestyle to make sure that you see immediate pain relief quickly with a guided plan to take you every step of the way towards ultimate pain relief. This is what we do for our clients all around the world. We meet with hundreds of people every single week to go over their disc and nerve issues, and we would be honored to meet with you as well. And if you would like to meet with us, you can click the link below to schedule a free call with my team so that you can learn how we can develop the right plan for you so that you can finally get pain-free. Once again, be sure to join my Facebook group, RehabFix Low Back Program, so you can get additional exclusive content and our free Sciatica guide immediately upon joining. And you can look at the additional upcoming content that we're created just for individuals in that page. It is a great way for you to join a community of serious, intentional individuals, and you can get to see some of our clients winning as well, so you can get a real idea of what is possible for you. If you are watching this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, please leave a 5-star rating and review so we can grow this podcast and help reach more individuals who deserve to get results, who feel like they're spinning their tires and getting frustrated in doing so. As always, move more, move in nature, move in the sun. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.